right. You guys, I'm super, super excited to be able to chat today with the amazing Vicky Bartow. And I wanted to introduce Vicky. Vicky is in my community. I've met this amazing person and she is incredible. We've actually chatted before, and I knew that I needed to bring her on here because she's special. So I wanted to introduce her to you. Vicky is from Pennsylvania and she is married for 35 years. I thought I had that, but that's amazing. And Vicky has two boys and two grandbabies, but check this out. She has six granddogs. So I want to, without further ado, bring Vicky on here today because we've got some exciting things to talk about. So Vicky, welcome to this chat.
Thank you, Renee. I'm super excited to be here today.
I'm super excited to have you. So let's get started. So my
All right.
first question for you today, and I know that we're going to just chat a little bit, but it's always best to start with a question, right? So I have a question for you. What was it when you decided that you wanted to do something in your life? What was it that made you seek out learning how to make money online and creating an online income?
Ooh, so I was in corporate America for a long time. So I was in corporate HR for 25 years, did learning and development. And it got to a point where I was burnout. Right? I was really tired and burnout. I worked for the largest outpatient physical therapy company in the US, and it was a very demanding job. And, I just got to a point where I was thinking I wanted to do something different. And then they did something for me and they went through company restructure and eliminated my position. And so when they did that, I decided, you know what, this is my opportunity. It's my opportunity to do something for myself and create my own like vision for what I want to do. And so I started looking online, figuring out, how can I build a business online, working from home, that would allow me to use my talents and, really help me kind of bring my vision together. And so I actually found a program that did that for me. And that was the Legacy Builder. And through that, I've learned so many different things about how to create the content, because I can teach online like this, but I can't teach somebody who's going to buy the content and do it on their own. So I was just super excited that I found that, and it helped me to build that. I just yeah it I knew I just needed to do something online, because there's the e-learning industry is huge and it's booming, and it's going more online now than ever. And that's one of the reasons why I was really like, I'm not going back to corporate America. I've got to figure out how I can do this on my own and how I can build my own, you know, business around that. And so, yeah, that's how I just started searching, and so glad that I found a Legacy Builder and it taught me how to do this, because this is just, my husband says this is my jam.
That's so funny you say that because I say the same thing. I go, this is my jam.
Yeah.
Because when you find something that you really love to do and it feels good, it's your jam, right?
Yes,
And it does.
yes,
And
absolutely.
it's a lot of fun. So let me ask you a question because I just heard so many good nuggets from you. But when you learned legacy, it taught you a lot of skills. Obviously, you learn a lot from that. Did it teach you anything about did you learn how to create your own digital product in this process? Or are you just
I
using
did.
their digital products, which is great.
Um, well, they have their digital products, but it taught me how to create my own. And right now, what's really cool is I have one digital product out there right now. I have one that's going to go live soon, and it is my full-blown leadership development course. So I'm super excited for that, because that's something I have taught for 25 years, and just have had really good results with it. So I'm excited to bring that. But it's also taught me, how to also create different avenues of passive income. And one of which was that it taught me how to build a community. And one of the things that, that concerns me about having an online business is the technology is out there, but so is AI, and AI is replacing a lot of things. And, the one thing I don't want it to do is to replace my content, which it could technically. But what I have found is that when you can build a community and you can have people in there, AI can't replace that. It can't replicate human connection. Even, as hard as it tries, it can't do that. And so, I've always had this vision of having my own, I say it's an empire, but it's a community where I can just pour into people, right? And just kind of do my jam and pour into people and just add value to them and help them to create the skill sets to improve their lives and go after what they want. And, I've done it for 25 years for companies. Now I want to do it in a community. And so it's taught me how to do that and afforded me how to launch it, which I launched it about 3 weeks ago.
Congratulations. And it looks amazing. And I have to say, what you said is so true. It's like, first of all, we have all this knowledge in our head. I don't care how old you are, you've got knowledge in your head. And taking it and understanding and honing in on it and what you can teach somebody else with it. But what you said was really powerful. I mean, AI is happening. It isn't going away. It is
No.
only going to be part of our lives forever, and it's going to increase. And it's amazing. But it cannot replace the community aspect of actually people talking to people. And that's
Mhm.
one thing that no matter what happens with AI, that cannot be changed. And it's something that's really needed because people need that safe space where they can go, grow, and learn and chat and talk and make friends. Oh my gosh, the communities that I'm in, I mean, I know you're in Legacy, I'm in Legacy. That community is a community I didn't even know I needed until I realized I
Yeah,
needed it,
so true.
right? I
Yeah.
didn't realize how useful a community can be just to ask a question and get a simple answer that you need. But when
Or
you
to get
realize,
multiple perspectives from it.
and it's
I,
great because people want to share their information with you.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I think is I never would have thought about doing a community unless COVID had hit. And I really do think that that has transformed everything when it comes to the online industry of anything. It's increased shopping, it's increased, education online, it's increased how we communicate with each other, obviously social media, but people are looking for a place to belong.
They really are. And when they can belong somewhere and at the same time learn from other people that are already being successful in that space, it's eye-opening to a lot of people. And I know because we just watched it happen. We were literally shown how to create a community, and boom, it was amazing because you created one, I created one. And
Mhm.
what's really cool was trying to figure out what's the best thing that I could teach people and talk to them about, right? So
Yep.
for me, like, and I used AI to help me remember what it is that I do best. Because sometimes we don't always aren't always self-aware of these things, right? So using
Mhm.
AI to pull it out helped me create my community. You already knew what your direction was, but I didn't. So there's two different examples right there of how
Yeah.
you can really get started. From one is knowing so much stuff, but I always say it's like kind of stuck in my head. It's 58 years of knowledge. And you already had all of this experience under your belt. I have a lot of leadership experience too. And one thing that I've learned in leadership is that there are a lot of people that don't understand leadership. So
Mhm.
it's great that you're going to be teaching that because they want to know they how to be a better leader. Some people don't realize they're a leader and they're a leader already, but they don't even realize it or recognize it. So the fact that you're doing that is so amazing. And I'm excited to be in your community and learn more from you. And I'm already a leader. So to see what another leader is doing is only going to make my leadership more better. It's going to make it better, not more better, but better. So I
It's
love
okay. You can say more better.
we're better, right? I love that we learn from each other, right? And I love that There's so many different aspects of how somebody can get started to create a community. But
Yes.
the golden thing here is that people do thrive on communities right now. And I mean, we're in school, we're in the school communities, right? And I am enjoying it much more than I was my social media on Facebook and things like that. And I'll tell you why.
I'm right
I
there
s-
with you.
right?
No ads.
Right. And I start realizing I'm going through all the notifications that I get, and I look at them and I'm like, oh, yeah, I want to read about that. Oh, yeah, I want to learn about that. Oh, what does that person have to say? I love what they usually say. I want to see what they're saying now. That's the kind of stuff. So now it's taken it to another level. So instead of seeing everybody complain or, show their family pictures, which I love, that's my favorite part of social media, and their travel and all that, I love that. Now you get to see a totally different aspect, and instead you're taking in stuff to grow yourself and make yourself better. And oh wow, what a concept.
And you're with like-minded people because they joined the community for the same reason, probably, around the same cause. So now you're around like-minded people with the same interest as you.
And that's really cool because learning from other people is what I've always done. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think of somebody else as a competition. Well, I think it is as somebody else. I always look to hang with people that are a notch above me, maybe a couple notches above me. Because if I don't level up with who I hang out with, I'm going to go down. So we always have
Absolutely.
to level up. So being in a community with like-minded people that are not competing with you, but that actually want to help you, whoa, that's like so different than what we're used to, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It is so different. So different, and one of the things that I was actually asked the other day when I was talking to somebody about the idea of having a community, they said, but I just don't have enough experience to do it. I don't have enough knowledge to do it. And so we spent time just talking about the things that interest them. And I was able to point out three key areas that they could start a community today in because they're passionate about it. And when you're passionate about something, you can share that passion with other people. And so, now they're starting to get a little excited, right? Because they're like, well, I never really thought about it that way. And so, hoping that I can encourage them because I think that they have a unique vision that I think would do well in a community. So
And I love that concept also because that is the thing. Not everybody knows what they can bring to the table, and they all have something they can bring to the table.
yes.
And there's always something. I heard this yesterday from somebody who's super successful, and that is that if you have something that can teach to somebody, there's somebody out there that needs to know it.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's somebody out there for that. So you just have to bring it out. But what I love about what you said about not having the experience that the person you spoke to was concerned about not having experience with building a community. Well, guess what? I don't know about you, but I didn't. I didn't. I've just been on social media just like everybody else, doing my normal
Yeah.
stuff, posting my pictures and commenting and liking and doing all of the engagement. And I'm a very engaged person, which is probably why I do well, like on Facebook and things like that, because I just naturally engage. But I didn't have any experience in a community until I learned it. So it's amazing what you can learn how to do, but you got to learn it. So it's just
You
like
have to.
anything else. I didn't get on a bicycle when I was a little girl and just pedal away. I had to be taught
No,
how to balance myself. I had to even learn, how do you put your foot over? How do you get
mhm,
onto the bike? I mean, that's step one, right? Now we got this
absolutely.
bike, and it's like, well, how do we get on it without falling over just right there? So all of these things take time to learn and perfect. So you think about it. If you went from learning how to get onto a bike, and then you can remember those days where you were biking and didn't even think about it, and you're like, this is when you were a little younger, and you're like, no hands, mom, and look at this wheelie I can do. Like, think I don't do that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, now all of a sudden
Mhm.
you're doing all of these crazy things with it. But if you think back to the day you started, that was not the case. We
No,
all have to
no.
evolve in everything that
We
we do,
all start as a beginner
in
in everything.
everything we do,
Mhm.
in everything we do. even from the day we were born, learning how to eat and drink from a bottle and everything like that. It was all, it wasn't, it was just something that we had to learn how to do.
Yep.
So you have to do it.
And, if the one thing I'm always trying to tell people is you've got to believe in yourself, because people look at you and they see potential, they see success, they see so much more than you think they see. You think they see what you see in yourself, but they don't see that at all. And so, oftentimes when I'm coaching people, I say, lean on my belief in you until you can get enough belief in yourself.
I love that. That is so powerful.
And it's so true. And it's one of the things, with anything, whether you start a community, whether you start a new online business, whether you take that job, you've got to learn to believe in yourself.
I agree. I was just going to ask you, what is your best advice to somebody who's thinking of maybe changing something in their life? Because if we always do what we always did, we always get what we always got. So, to those people that are listening right now that are really feeling like I have been doing the same 6 months over for the past 10 years, those, and we all have been there, where we just keep repeating. We'll literally, January will come and we're like, we're so excited. March comes and we're still excited. But then we start losing that excitement sometimes throughout the year because we know that we're stuck. When you're stuck in that job that isn't going to give you a raise, you're not going to get any more money. And if you do, maybe you're getting an extra $1,000 a year. That sounds nice, but is it really doing anything for you? I mean, let's be real. Is $1,000 a year going to help anybody right now? It's not. Okay. So that's not really a raise. We're talking a raise, right? And you're not going to get it. And you're going to that job. You love your job. You love what you do, but it's not advancing you in your life and you're staying stagnant. When you start to stay stagnant, and you're stagnant, but you don't know how to get unstagnant, what's your advice to those people?
You just described my last job.
That's probably because it was mine too.
You know what I would say? Do what I didn't do. And I'm going to share this. So I really wanted to do something different, but I made really good money and I was tied to that. And if I've learned anything from this new experience, is that sometimes letting go of what you think is your safety net opens up the door for a bigger safety net, for a bigger opportunity. And I would say, if somebody's stuck and really trying to figure out how they want to move forward, go inside and what's your why? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you do the things you do? What are you passionate about? And what are you good at? Find one thing today that you can focus on to use that skill and get yourself some momentum so that you get the courage to make the change. It's hard. Change is hard. And we're in an environment right now, the economy's up and down, everything, companies are laying people off and companies are closing. I just did a YouTube video on this. So many companies are laying off people and closing in 2024. And it's only a prelude to what's coming. Don't wait like I did. Don't wait. Learn from my mistake. Just jump. Find something, do something small, build your momentum and your courage to take a bigger step.
I love that. That is really strong words. And, to piggyback on what you just said, I don't want to say the government agency that this happened to yesterday because I don't really want them looking at me and checking anything out. But let's just say that and raise anything. But there was a very, very big government agency yesterday that got cut. 45,000 out of 90,000 jobs were gone. Those are people that probably poured everything into their job for forever because they were getting pensions, they were getting benefits, they were getting all of these things that they were building
Mhm.
up for their retirement. And they don't make
Yeah.
it that far. They never made it to that point. So, my point of that is you have to have a backup plan. You
Mhm.
need, in today's world, things right now are very unstable. You need to have some stability for yourself and create something for yourself. So when you might be one of those 45,000 that lose their job today, you know that you have a backup plan. And your backup plan is only going to get bigger and better because you already had it in place. So
Yep.
I just really believe that people really need to get that in their head right now, that even if you don't do anything else in your life, have a backup plan because this world right now is changing. It's changing a lot. And you need to be prepared. And I'm not
Mhm.
trying to scare anybody, but it's reality.
It
I mean,
is
let's
reality.
talk about it. Like Hobby Lobby just closed. Party City just closed. Like I know, like there's so many people, and we think, oh, it's the person that works in the retail store that is the one that's affected, and they'll go work at another retail store. But you know what? It's not that easy. And first of all, you might have had an employer that was working around your schedule, and now you're going to have somebody who's not, and you're a mom, and you're trying to figure that out. And now you have to go change everything that you were doing just because
Yeah.
it didn't work out. But what about all the people in corporate that just lost very, very high paying jobs? Do you think that it's so easy when you have a high paying job to go get another one?
No,
It
it
is,
is not.
it is
I was in
not.
HR 25 years. I know it's not.
It's not. And that's what
Yeah.
people don't understand. I have a
Yeah.
friend who got laid off a year and a half ago and just found a job
Mhm.
because you can find a job, but are you going to find one that's equal or better? No, you're probably
My
going to find
former
one that's a
boss
little bit
is
down.
exact same way.
You're
She lost her position last January and just started her new job Tuesday, yesterday.
So to all those people watching out there, if you think your job is not replaceable, I hate to tell you, pinch yourself, it's replaceable. I
Mhm.
used to think that. And I'm sure you did too, because you
Yeah.
have that background, you do, and I do too. I worked 23 years in one industry. I was in sales and marketing for forever. But you pour your heart and your soul into your position. You give them every single thing that you have. Until you don't do that anymore, do you realize that you were doing that? And you realize that that's the person you are because you want to give your best to everything you do, right? And you know
Mhm.
that you were taught that the more you give to them, the better you're going to get and you're going to keep your job. But it's not happening anymore because that is
Yeah.
old school. We
Yeah.
wish it was, but that's not the way it is anymore. And those
No.
401ks that we had, well, we're outliving them now.
Yes.
We're outliving them. And if you were unlucky, or okay, maybe you were lucky or unlucky, whatever you want to call it, like me, I didn't have an employer that was matching my 401k.
Mm.
And if you're not making enough money to really put the max amount in your 401k, and most people are not, most people can't even put any money in there because they're strapped. So you got to ask yourself, well, there's a better way. There's got to be a better way. And I always knew there was a better way. I just didn't know how to
Mhm.
find it. Did you
Yeah.
feel that way too?
Oh, absolutely. I had a poorly funded 401k, because I was raising my kids. And so, and early on my husband and I didn't have a lot of cash, right? We didn't have a lot of money. And so everything that we made, we poured into college educations and making sure our kids had what they needed, not what they wanted, what they needed, a house, roof over their head, food, just different things. And I said, well, when the kids grow up and we're done with college education, I'll start saving for retirement. So I started about 8 years ago, thinking I was going to have another 12 years because I was told I couldn't retire until I was at least 67. And I was maxing my 401k out. Then I get told I'm being let go. Well, now what am I going to do? And this is where I do wish I would have had a backup plan already in place. I had been thinking about it, but thinking about it doesn't help you when it happens.
So interesting what you just said is that I did have a backup plan. I had a side hustle that I was doing well with. I lost 100 pounds and I was coaching people how to lose the weight with the program I followed until that program wasn't really kicking it anymore because something
Mhm.
else came out in the world and that was the weight loss shots, right? So now people had a choice. Do you want to follow a program that, you're eating their food and yada yada, or do you want to take a shot and not be hungry and lose weight? That's what people thought would be better, right? So the
Mhm.
whole industry changed for the weight loss industry when that happened. Well, guess what? My backup plan that I was growing so much right now was going down. And I had no control over it because it wasn't my company at the end of the day. It
Yep.
was my business. I ran it. I did it all for me and my people, and I helped everybody. However, it tanked. The company tanked, so everything tanked. So I was
Yeah.
left like this again with my hands sitting here like, what do I do? And that's what happened now. So my backup plan didn't even work. So it wasn't a solid backup plan. You think you
Mhm.
have a backup plan, but is it solid? Is it a
Yeah.
good backup?
Well, I'll tell you what, mine is solid now. It
Because
is
now you're
solid now.
building something for yourself and you already
And
know how to do it. So tell me why that's working better for you.
I'm having multiple income streams coming in. I am learning how to build multiple income streams, doing what I love. Doing what I love. It's not even work, Renee. It is my husband's always says, I got my fire back. And I do. I have my fire back. Just the fact that like today, in an hour and a half, I'm going to get on with my community and I'm doing a mindset course, right? We're doing a mindset lesson and just pouring into them. I love doing that. But, from that, I get coaching opportunities. I actually just got a message not long ago from somebody in my community saying, hey, can we start a one on one coaching relationship? Absolutely. So, I'm doing that. I have my legacy builder that I do, my promotions of the 4 products. That's passive income coming in. I've learned how to become an affiliate to other programs that I like and support, meaning that when I promote them, I earn money when people buy those. I am building all these different levels. And so, why that's so important is because if one area starts to drop, I'm not panicked because I've got multiple streams coming in. And you and I are learning that it's amazing. You can get monetized on YouTube and TikTok. And I'm like, I didn't even know that was possible. All these things, and we're learning the skills to do that.
And it's great because multiple streams of income, I've been preaching this for years. It's extremely, extremely important. If you guys, if anybody's watching this right now, there's anything that we can stress right now, and I know you're going to agree with me, Vicky, is create multiple streams of income. Don't just rely on your job because when that job shuts off, you have this coming in.
Yeah.
And that's also going to help you to save for your future because it's hard to save money when you only have one stream of income coming in right now.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if, what happens if they all of a sudden they go on some kind of a freeze and now you're not going to even get an increase. So you're going to get stuck while inflation continues to go. You're going to be sitting here. Yeah, that's the hardest part. I loved my job. I loved what I did at the company. But I just was stuck because I felt unfulfilled, not because of what I did, but because of what I wasn't allowed to do. And in my own company, I can do whatever I want.
It's the best, isn't it? That's
I
really the
I
secret.
love my boss, Renee. She's awesome.
And she's got her
Yeah,
jam going on. So listen, let's
she's
be
got her
real, right?
jam.
And that's it, like, and that's why you're smiling from side to side because you're happy. You wake up
Yeah,
happy. You wake up like you want to get up in the morning and go to start to work because it's for you. And
yep.
the best part, even though it's for you, I know, I hear it from what you're saying. It's helping the other people.
Mhm.
And that is the best part. The money comes with it. That's
Yes.
that's secondary. So that's all great, but when you can really, really learn how to help and give back to other people, It's the giver's gain theory. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but if you give, don't give because you want to get. Give because you're
Yes.
truly giving. And when you are truly giving, things are going to come back to you.
Yes.
Don't be that gatekeeper. Share, learn, teach, and help people because they want to know. And if you have what it takes to teach them, and listen, everybody does. Everybody has it, but you got to find it.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you said in the beginning is you need to become your best self.
Yeah.
When you become your
Absolutely.
best self, it all shines.
And you need to find out, what is your personal vision? What is your vision for your life? One of the things that I teach in my program is, creating a personal vision statement is something that sticks. For me, it's adding value to people every day. That's it. It's not where to add value. It's just to add value to people. And that looks very differently all day long. But what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to be a good example of what a good person is.
Okay.
It was funny. I was at the grocery store the other day, and there's this lady. She was parking. She was putting her stuff in her car, and I noticed that she kept looking at her cart, and I knew she wasn't going to be putting her cart away. Okay. And so inside my head at first, I'm like, seriously, she's not going to walk the 20 feet to put her thing in. And then I'm really glad I didn't. I stopped and I went over and I said, here, I'll take it in for you. She said, thank you. She said, I just had a hip replacement and I'm just done for the day. And
Oh,
I was like, Vicki, lesson learned. It just goes to tell you, you have no idea what's going on in somebody's life. But what I did for her added value to her because now she didn't feel guilty leaving it sit there. Because I think she probably would have felt guilty. She just physically couldn't do it.
and I love that you didn't judge her because that's a
I
waste of
did it first. I
you were
did it
you were
first.
judging the situation. I think you were
Yes.
evaluating it. It sounds to me like you weren't quite judging, but you were like watching her like why? But then something said to you, let me step in here.
Mhm.
And because you did that, you made somebody's day. And
Yep.
she's never going to forget that. And isn't that the beautiful thing about life? Like, if we could just get more people to realize that that's going to turn their life around because that's a
Oh,
giver's gain. Listen,
yeah.
you gave to her, you helped her put a smile on her face, made her feel better in a day where she was struggling.
Yep.
And at the end, you took that almost judging, turned it around, and put a smile on your face.
Yep.
And you
Absolutely.
put something more in your heart that day because then that's really what it's about. And people don't always understand that. But when you can flip that script in your head, it's just as easy. It's actually it's a conscious level to be nice and go out of your way for people. But once you start to do it and it becomes a habit, your
And
life
it becomes
changes
unconscious.
in so many ways because giving back in a nice community, in a nice way, in a nice space is way better than being mean and ugly because it doesn't feel good to anybody. And
Yeah. Oh, no.
if that feels good to you, you need to start to realize that there's
Yeah.
this is going to feel way better. And it'll
Yeah.
help you get control of your life. So if you don't have control of your life, it's a simple thing of smiling to somebody when you walk by them. How many people do you walk by in a day when you're out and you look at them and you're like, why don't they smile?
It's funny, Renee. I was just going to give you a throwdown challenge. This is one of the challenges I do in my leadership course, and it's called the Smile Challenge. And you're from New York, correct?
I am.
Okay. So, that's what I thought. So here's the challenge. Every single person you come across, you try to make eye contact. Whether they make eye contact with you or not, smile to Adam.
So
Smile
I'm
at
going
him.
to take it a step further on what we do. My husband and I are very conscious of this, both of us. And when we go for anywhere, if we're out and about, if somebody's walking past us, we say, hello. We say, good afternoon. We
Yeah.
say, whatever it is that's going on, we acknowledge them. Wow. We go on a walk every night in our community. These are the same people I walk by every day. And some people will just walk by with their head down and they won't
Yeah.
say hello. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why? You live in this community. Just say hi, smile. So we go, hi. And some people will look at us, look like,
Now
or are they like this, you know? And our mission is to break those people down. We've got
that's
to
right
smile on
too.
them, and I'm going to get it out. And that's
I
it.
do the exact same thing. I did the same thing yesterday when I was walking in our neighborhood. You know, we have a walking path, and a lot of people were out yesterday. It was a beautiful day. And I would see people and I'd be like, good afternoon, or hey, how are you? Or I'd stop and pat the dog, and the people would not look at me, but I would look at them and smile and say, have a great day. Or I'd force them to tell me, oh, what's your puppy's name? You know, but just trying to get people to engage and smile. And the funny part was the one guy who had the dog, he wasn't engaging, took 3 laps. By the third lap, he smiled at me because I kept smiling every time I came around the circle.
I love to do it even more. And when they walk away and they're growling at me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna
I'm
get you.
breaking him down,
I'm gonna
breaking him
flip
down.
that script for you. And I'm gonna and you wonder, like, why are people so guarded? Why can't
Yeah.
you just say a simple hello? So good morning, I cruise a lot and I go out on the cruise ships. I go to get my chair at the pool very early, because people think it's because I want to make sure I got my chair. No, I love watching the sunrise in the morning. People miss that whole part of cruising, by the way. I'm not there to cruise for the parties and everything or the food. I am there so that I can see the sunrise every morning and so that I can see the sunset every night, because I have the option to do that when I'm on the water because it's around me. And you guys, like, that is what you got to hone in on in your life, the beauty of the things around you. And somebody once said this to me, so I'll share this with everybody, is be present. We are very disconnected from reality a lot of times because of our phones and our devices. Put them away. You go on a walk with your husband or your friend or whoever it is, or even by yourself, put it away. Take that time. You owe it to yourself to disconnect from it. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, whatever it is that you need, disconnect from it every single day. You have to, because you will become a computer if you don't. So disconnect from it, smile, and be present. So what does that mean? It means when you go for a walk, I really have taken this to heart over the years. I've listened to it and it's so true. Think about how fast you can walk by stuff and never see anything. But what if you were looking at the trees and you actually observe what's going on that tree, and you look at that beautiful tree, and then you're seeing this house and you're noticing that house, and oh, the color of the painting is nice, or whatever it is that it is. If you don't pay attention intentionally, you're missing it. You're missing everything. And this, if you really think about this, when you were a child and you sat in the back seat of the car when your parents were driving, what did you do?
Looked out the window.
Right. And what'd you do when you looked out the window? You saw everything, right?
Yep. Yep.
What do you do now when your husband's driving?
I do look out the window,
I'm on
only
the
because I'm
phone.
fearful of his driving now.
Okay, I'm not fearful. Thank God. I'm like, my husband is good. I'm like, drive me wherever you want.
The
But
ever older he
I'm
gets,
looking
the
at my
scarier
phone.
it gets.
I'm guilty. I look at my phone. And then when I do look up on that same trip that we've done a million times, and I look up, I'm like, oh, that's a new building. My husband's like, no, it's not. I'm like, well, it's new to me because I haven't been present. So now I try to put my phone down in the car so I could see what's going on around me. And you guys, if there's anything I can stress, it is so important. And it's something that's disappearing out of our lives. We've got to put it back in. It's critically important for ourselves.
It is so, and and everybody's very distracted with just everything going on in our life too, and I think that back to the why people don't smile at you when they pass you by. I think sometimes they're so wrapped up in their own circumstances. And the hardest part of that, Renee, is sometimes if they would just step away from worrying about it so much, they would find the solution and be able to move on. But they intentionally hold themselves there, and it prevents them from seeing what's happening around them.
And I think a lot of times it's because they just don't know how to do it. So being in a community like yours that teaches them or being in a community like mine, which teaches them how to learn how to travel and live a life they don't need a vacation from. So like no matter what it is that you need, there's something out there for you. I always say there's a lid for every pot, right? So I gotten so much from you today. I mean, I think you're just such an amazing person. I love when we chatted the other day, and I knew that you're magnetic, and I needed to bring you back on here because I love to exude positivity, and I'm never going to live in that negative world. It's just not productive. So
No.
I would rather help people learn how to live in a positive world and be in a better space. And I'm going to stay right here in my space with you. And we're going to be able to bring people over with us that want to go there. Because the people that want to stay stuck, they're going to stay stuck. They don't want to get out of it. They like to complain. There are people that just like to complain, and there are people that like to be unhappy. They feel good like that. I never will understand that. But I also know that sometimes they just don't know another way
Mhm.
until all of a sudden that light bulb goes off, right? And we've all had that light bulb moment. But I always say this, if your eyes are aligned, if your eyes are open and if your eye, wait, I can't even think of it. If your eyes are open and your ears are open and your heart is aligned, it'll be open to receiving what you need to receive.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Okay.
Yes.
So I thank you so much for coming today and for doing
Oh,
this with
thank
me.
you.
And I just can't wait to spread the love and pass it out there to people. And let's just make this thing happen because between what you're doing and what I'm doing, it's all amazing stuff that we can teach people and help them and get them out there. And you guys, if you are not living the life that you want, then dive in. Dive in and figure it out. You got you got an amazing community here where you can go and learn leadership skills and how to be a better person. If you don't know that and you don't see that right now, then I don't know what else to tell you. But you have to go and check it out. The link will be down below. If you want to know more how you can get a grip on the life that you have. I don't care if it's good and you want it to be better. I don't care if it's great and you want it to be better. I don't care if it's not good and you want it to be better. At the end of the day, if you stay stagnant, you'll always be stagnant. If you don't want to be stagnant anymore and you want to thrive in a world that's growing, then go click on that link down below and you owe it to yourself to explore and not ignore.
Renee, thank you so much. I've had so much fun today.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to do it again with you. I'm sure we'll be back together soon. And if anybody has any questions, just drop them down below and one of us will be getting back to you shortly. Have an awesome day, Vicki.
Thank you. Take care. Have a great day.